Skull Island: Rise of Kong, a brand new game that just came out based upon the big monkey from the movies who likes to hit things with his big monkey muscles. Sadly, the game is probably worse than hemorrhoids, and nearly every single review on it has been completely negative, whether that be from online sources or even just lads on YouTube who made videos about it. But today I'm going to be subjecting both myself and my wallet to this endless pain that is Rise of Kong. The game costs $50 to play and comes with absolutely nothing good in it, but somehow, some way, I got the platinum trophy for it, and actually felt super proud because of how bad and hard this actually was. The game contains 28 trophies total, and only a handful of people have gotten the platinum so far. Also, not a single one of my PlayStation friends own the game, which is definitely saying something. Rise of Kong begins with an epic title screen of Kong looking off in the distance toward his dead ancestors with very bad graphics. We then get some super low effort introduction cutscene which has an old lady speaking whilst all we see is cave drawings. I could honestly have fallen down the stairs and yelled my social security number, and you probably could have gotten more lore and entertainment value out of that. We then just get dropped right into the game and are playing as Kong's mom, who is lost and can't find her husband and child, Kong. Also, her posture perfectly represents what I feel about this game. This whole area is basically just an introduction and tutorial on how to play the game, but for some reason they made the Kong character models all extremely short, and I low-key be looking like I'm 5 foot tall. So any enemy that runs up on me is gonna have no problem whatsoever eating my ass. I also got a good look at the game's map system, which doesn't feature a single guiding thing on it. There is no markers, no player location, no zooming or moving it, and not a single time throughout does anything pop up on the map or show anything at all. It is literally just a JPEG sitting on your screen, which shows some little designs a homeless man could probably make. And that's honestly what makes this hard, because if you get lost, you get lost, since the entire game all looks like one reused asset over and over, because it is. Anyways, we literally just ran around some fields fighting enemies, and the combat isn't really hard necessarily in this game. It's just bad, which makes it seem hard since you can't really do much against enemies aside from attack and try to dodge their attacks, which happen pretty much randomly. But I did get my first trophy on the tutorial, however, for getting 5 kills within 10 seconds, which wasn't even that bad when you just spam attacks over and over into a big ol' army of people. I also just sat still after and let my butthole close, but my character had a super serious face going on, and I kind of giggled at it like a silly goose. I have crippling depression. I then continued on with a tutorial and fought another enemy, but this time the game done broke and I literally fell out of the world into complete emptiness. Now, since the developers who made this are all idiots, they didn't even bother to add an instant kill effect when this happens. So I had to reset checkpoint. I'm not gonna lie, David, you look like you're having a lot of fun. Maybe next time you should try and make your game reflect that. So yeah, the tutorial was pretty boring, but we finished it and then got a lore cutscene where we watched as Kong's dad got to go battle the game's final boss. And he indeed did not win. So then Kong cried like a child. What an idiot. And we got to take the reins of the fight. I'm not gonna lie, I bet I could have beat this guy, but you have to die since then the game wouldn't even have a story. But it would be funny if you could just end it here. Sadly, the devs can barely make a story to begin with, so we shouldn't even imagine such a possibility. But after dying, we get to listen to this old lady talk again and watch as Kong reflects into a rainy puddle of water. A true villain origin story.
That's what I'm saying.
And I got my next trophy pop for finishing the intro of the game, if you could even call it that. We then see Kong get all grown up, and the mission for the game is to take back Skull Island, which is composed of 5 stages or levels. Each has a boss fight on it leading up to the final boss, which is obviously the thing that killed Kong's parents just previously. So we begin the first level, which opened my eyes immediately to how confusing the map is. However, right away I parkoured up a wall, which I wasn't supposed to do, and I got my first collectible of the day, which will end up being the most annoying and final trophy left at the end. So after that, I just sort of ran around trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life. And I know that's a daily problem for most of you, but at least you aren't an undeveloped monkey who lost any sort of navigational skills within minutes like me. Or maybe you are. A lot later on, I was still wandering around the first level with no clue of who I am. But I did eliminate 100 enemies already, which I was kind of shocked by and got a trophy from it. And then not much happened for a while, and this game really got boring super fast. But I found out you can pick these pieces of woods out of the ground and then just smack things with it. And it's almost always like an instant kill. So thanks to the excessive manslaughter I did, it really spiced up my life. No wonder crime rates are so high. I also did these things called ascension zones. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. But these are scattered around each stage, and you need to do all of them for a trophy and 100% completion of the game. Honestly, none of them are that hard, but finding them is a challenge since again the map shows nothing and you basically just wander around until it tells you that you're inside of it. And you might not even know you're inside of one, which is what I imagine people with small penises have problems with also. But I did get a trophy after that for throwing a rock at a bird enemy, and those stupid birds are probably one of the most annoying things in the game since they just follow you around everywhere and tell you you're a loser. I then got another trophy while I was in a different ascension zone for doing 10 finishers on enemies. And if you're an avid viewer of the Its Ilusion universe, then first of all, thank you. And secondly, you'll know that I love finishing off dudes. But not as much as a little baby, apparently. I then went and fought some blue crabs, which is what I think your girlfriend has. I'm not sure, I haven't seen her in a hot minute, but I did try to throw these crabs at each other until one died. And when one did die, I got a trophy for using the other one to kill it. Oh, and wonderful. A minute later, as I was being abused by prehistorical animals, my character broke again, and I couldn't turn or move in any direction aside from running forwards. What a great game, really worth the $50 I got stolen from me. Next, I walked up on this level's boss fight, which was kind of a surprise, but I decided to try and do the 0 damage trophy in a boss fight right away on this fight. And let's just say that didn't really go to plan. I have no clue what this enemy's problem is, but I swear it was the most inconsistent fight I've ever done in my life. The thing would just pop up and down with no reason as to why it was doing it, and then occasionally just not and go complete 8 mode on me. Now I don't want to count how many times I had to reset this fight, whether it be by checkpoint or dying. But I finally decided to give up on that trophy and just beat it. So after around 45 minutes of agony, I did it. And if I didn't already dislike this game, I most definitely do now. But thankfully it wasn't all in vain and I got a few trophies after beating the boss. Next, I wanted to keep exploring the first level since I knew I hadn't done everything yet. But I was kind of confused and being dumb and didn't know I could break those red wall things, so I just went on to the second level after a few moments of idiocracy. So now we were on level 2, which if you thought it couldn't get any worse, it does. Maybe most definitely does.
Oh my god!
This level is literally just wide open, but instead of having bigger view distance for it, they just threw fog and rain everywhere, making the scenery look like the average sight Helen Keller got to experience in her life. So I basically just wandered around for a while, trying my best not to miss anything. Sadly, I did obviously, since it's like impossible not to with how amazing this game is. I actually love it so much, I purposely did this so I could come back and play more later. We ended up on the boss fight after quite some time, and it was with this giant-ass crab, I think. Honestly, I don't know what the hell it is, but it was rocking with a Damascus camo from Modern Warfare 2019, and I felt bad after beating it. But I did die once, so we were sort of even on a spiritual level. And then I took him down on my second attempt once I got my balls out of the dirt, and we watched this Kong about nearly busted one right there. Oh, and I got a trophy obviously for winning the fight. And after that, I got 250 total kills before we went to the next level for another one. However, this time when going to the next mission, we actually got a whole cutscene, and Kong just sniffed the air, but realized the stench was actually just him. Then we got to play again. Dang it. Also, on this level, I reached a new level of just straight up confusion. I literally ran in circles for an hour straight, trying desperately to find the final Ascension Zone battle thingy. And it was the boss fight one also, which meant I couldn't even move on with the game until I found it. Now, if you really want to see me suffer through this, it can't be merely explained. So make sure to check out the second channel's video on this game also, which has my sexy face complaining a lot. Anyways, during the suffering, I did get a skill point trophy unlocked. And finally, after what seemed like an eternity because it was, I walked into the boss fight area and got gangbanged by like 3 dudes at once. They even all had their own little health bars, which was so cute. Too bad I just used my ultimate power on them all and made those tiny little health bars disappear as quickly as they came, which yielded me 2 trophies. One for the fight and another for 100%ing the level, which made me bust a fat one out of excitement that I wouldn't need to come back here again. I then went out to level 4, which had a few cutscenes in it, but nothing really happened except we got to look at more cave drawings. And then we got to play again. And actually, this level wasn't that bad. It was mostly all just in one direction, so I didn't get lost at all. But they made up for that easy factor by making it the world's longest map yet. And I literally spent an hour just getting to the boss fight at the end because of how far away it was. And this boss fight was also super annoying. It was with a giant spider who just sat on her dumb web and pooped out spider babies from her vagina. And you have to throw rocks at her to knock her down. It took me lots of times to do this since her spider babies were also super annoying and I had to make sure not to get killed by them in the process. But after taking her out, we got a trophy for beating her. And then another one for getting lots of skill points. And another for 100% of Chapter 4 in addition. We then went to Chapter 5, the final level of the game, and Kong resembled my excitement here as well. Anyways, this level wasn't too bad until the end because I couldn't find the final area of the game. But I did get some trophies before that. The first one was for eliminating every single enemy type in the game, and right after that I unlocked every single skill point also. This, however, I found hilarious since the game says you have all the skill points for the trophy, yet you can't even purchase half the skills available. So I don't really get what kind of balancing that was, but it was just so stupid. And it's honestly nothing more than I would expect out of this heaping pile of doo-doo game. So next I needed to finish the game off, and sadly I got completely lost and didn't know where to go, so I spent an hour retracing my steps, which was agony. But like usual, I found my way eventually, and we did the final boss fight with the same enemy who took out Kong's family in the intro. And funnily enough, this fight was actually the easiest out of them all, mostly just because the boss does nearly 0 attacks against you the whole time, and those he does you can just dodge out of the way. So I took this as my chance to get a ton of trophies. First, obviously for beating it. Second, for not taking any damage while fighting it. Thirdly, for beating it without using my special power. And finally, fourth, for just 100%ing the chapter. So yeah, that was a crazy line of trophies there. And we got a few hard ones out of the way, thankfully. Sadly, the cleanup was not very easy. I only missed 3 collectibles and 2 ascension zones, both of which were on levels 1 and 2. This meant I needed to retrace through all the levels back to those. And while this could have been done with the chapter select feature, sadly this dumbass game didn't have that obviously. So I had to manually walk back through all the portals I went through until getting to the levels I needed to be on. Thankfully, once I got to level 2, I actually found the last ascension zone right away, which was so weird, but I can't complain. And after I finished it, I got a trophy for chapter 2's completion, which for some reason doesn't include collectibles since I still had one left on this mission. And I tried to find it, but for the life of me, I just could not figure out how to actually get to it. And it was even worse because I could just see it sitting on a cliff, but I couldn't actually get up there. So I ended up giving up on that for now and just went over to the first level to quickly finish that up, which I did just that. Finished fast. Like usual, if you know what I mean. And I did the last ascension zone, which gave me a trophy, and then the chapter 1 trophy also. Now I literally just needed that one collectible back on the other chapter to get the platinum. And it took me another 40 minutes to find its location. And I even had to go back and watch my previous recording to find out where this cave's entrance was, since I went in it the first time I was here but missed the collectible back then. And that was just a cherry on top for my insanity. But I did find the last collectible, and oh my god, I was actually so happy I did. Many times throughout this I nearly quit and was gonna just not platinum the game, but something in me just really wanted this one. So yeah, here's the platinum for Rise of Kong. One of the worst games ever released, especially in 2023's day and age. If you want to see me platinum Golem next, another horrible game released recently, then get this video to 5,555 likes. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.